now it's time for our last session, which is a panelist discussion on the working in Asia. For our audience, if there is any specific question you would like to ask our panelists, please use the Q&A button located on the top of your screen. This session is supposed to be 40 minutes, but given this is the last part of our webinar and depending on how active our audience are, the session can be extended slightly so that all the questions can be answered. And please don't worry if you can't stay with us till the end. You will still get your 2 hours CPD, that's not the problem. Now, let me give you some background of our panelists tonight. Our first panelist, Tian Yuan, is a fellow of the IFOA and is currently working for AM Best in Singapore. She moved to Singapore from London with her family in 2018. While in the UK, she worked for several insurance and reinsurance companies, including XL Catalin and Chosa. She previously worked in the field of pricing, reserving, risk management, and data analytics. Outside work, she likes traveling, dancing, and playing piano. Our second guest, Wan Xie, is also a fellow of the IFOA and is currently working for Deloitte in Hong Kong. Wan Xie moved to Hong Kong in 2017. Prior to that, she worked for Aviva Group in London for 4 years, focusing on the development of Solvency II internal model methodologies. She has also worked for KPMG UK for 2.5 years. Outside work, she enjoys hiking and Hong Kong is great for that. Our third guest, Mingyu Fan, moved back to Shanghai in April 2019 and currently works as a director in the insurance business unit of Fossum Group. She oversees strategy and innovation of portfolio companies. Prior to that, she worked as a strategy consultant in London for 7 years. Good evening, Tian Yuan, Wan Xie, and Mingyu. Thank you for joining our panelist discussion tonight. Oh, by the way, you all got very nice background pictures.
Yeah, so my background is a view of the Victoria Harbour, which is very famous view for Hong Kong, I guess.
Yeah, same here. My view is Singapore at the back.
Julie got that.
Yeah, well, I'm based in Shanghai, but I couldn't find a photo, so just pick one that's from a street view of Beijing.
That's great. I noticed that you all started your career in London, and then at some point you decided to relocate back to Asia. And you all work in different domains in different cities. For example, Tian Yuan was initially doing pricing, reserving, and then moved on to do risk management and credit rating in Singapore. And Wan Xie is doing consultancy in Hong Kong, and Mingyu is focusing on the insurance strategy in Shanghai. So for tonight's session, it would be really helpful if you could share experience and your tips on working in Asia with our audience, as I'm sure there are quite a few of our members who are planning to go back at some stage. Shall we start with an easy question? Yeah. So what made you decide to move back to Asia? What are your considerations when you choose your current city?
Shall I go first then? So I guess, So for me, it was a number of reasons, or like not like a single reason that made the move. So like I guess I've listed out, maybe there are 3 key reasons. One is maybe similar to a lot of people with similar background as me, is be closer to like relatives and family in mainland China, and also like to experience a new city. I think that's also quite interesting for me. And then also, I guess, the opportunities that Asia has to offer. The insurance industry is a lot younger here. So I guess it's like still a lot of opportunities for growing, and hence a lot of opportunities for like actuaries like us as well. So why Hong Kong? I guess there's also like a mixture of different reasons. My background, I was born in mainland China. I mean, having spent the first 14 years of my life getting educated in mainland China, and then I moved over to the UK with my parents, and then spent the next 14 years in the UK. So I came to Hong Kong when I was 28, so I having spent about half of my life in mainland China, half of my life in the UK. So for me, I had like mixed brain like upbringing and also like education. So I think somewhere like Hong Kong appeared to me in that way, where I think I can probably settle in relatively well with a mixed culture here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much from me for this question. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I go next? Yeah. So the reason I moved to Singapore, similar to Wenxi, is a mix of reasons. So it's mainly the family decision. So at that time, because of my husband got some job opportunities in Singapore, and then for me, I just follow. So we did come to Singapore before we decided to move, and just to investigate whether the environment, everything is a good fit. So after that trip, and we decided to move to Singapore. So I see Singapore has the benefit of adapting both Eastern and Western culture. So it has a mix of Chinese people and Singapore and Southeast Asia, and also the people coming from other countries and from the Western countries. So it has quite a multi culture, and also on the work-wise, and I think like it also have a both side. And so you do see the companies which have the headquarters in East also have the headquarters in the West, and so it has lots of choices. So I did find a job and in Singapore in the end, so it wasn't too kind of difficult at that time. And even for me, like I have to find a job because it was like my husband's side that who can move directly. And so I do also see Singapore is a good place for life. It's quite safe country, and as you know that Singapore has a very strict law enforcement, and is one of the country which still keep this like cane beating, and if someone make any like a very bad kind of behavior, and they could be fined, they could be punished. So that way that the country is very tightly controlled and quite safe. So for a young family like us, it's a good place for raising kids. On the education wise, it's also very good. So that's why we decided to come here. Yeah, so that's my reason for moving to Singapore.
Thank you, Jia. Yeah, Mingyu, do you want to go? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think it's probably for curiosity. I think this will come up quite many times tonight. So, so I was doing consulting when I was in London, and I was getting involved in a lot of fintech research project. And for about 6 months or a year, and then gradually I realized that actually a lot of exciting new fintech examples or great companies are actually coming from Asia. A lot of interesting user case. And also when I visited China for holidays, I was so impressed by all these cool apps like the car sharing apps or Alipay, etc. So it's all of this perception of excitement and opportunities. So I thought, wow, why not just give it a go and see whether I like it or not. And I felt it's actually all the great examples that I read from the case study, they were actually real when I came back here. And yeah, so that's my reason. And why Shanghai is not by choice either. So I just got offered a job in Shanghai, then I moved back, and luckily I love it as well. And it's got quite a bit of international vibe, but it's also Chinese. So I think I would recommend it's a good location if you are considering moving back to China after years of living in UK. It's because it's good, get a good combination of West and East among, I think, probably among all of the cities in mainland China.
Okay.